Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here or if you're coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm Holly and I'm very happy to have you here visiting my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a collaboration video. This is for sheet pan meals. So this is going to be anything that can be made in a sheet pan, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, anything like that. So that's the type of recipes you will find here. And it is being hosted by Sammi at Managing the Maze. If you have not subscribed to Sammi's channel, you need to go and do that. She's a very sweet woman. She has lots of great content on her channel. She does grocery hauls, what I cooked for dinner videos, lots of recipes. So please go and check her channel out. I'm gonna leave that link down below in the description box. And I will also leave the playlist down below in the description box. I have a lot of YouTube friends that are making recipes for this, so please be sure to go and check their channels out. I know that you will find lots of great recipes in this collaboration that you can try and make for your family as well. And now I'm going to show you the 3 different things I made for this collaboration, and I hope that you enjoy the video. The first sheet pan meal I'm going to show you is for breakfast. And these are easy to make. I've made these a lot, mostly not in a sheet pan, but in a pan. But I'm using 5 extra large eggs, a half a pound, or well, it's a half a pound of any type of breakfast sausage that you like. I'm using hot sausage, and I usually like Jimmy Dean, but all I had in my freezer was the Tennessee Pride, so that's what I'm going to use. And after, I will also cut those up, what's left, and fry those. You will need a cup of your favorite cheddar cheese, anything like that. I'm using a Mexican blend and some Monterey Jack cheese, so it's a little over a cup. You will also need 1 cup of shredded hash browns, and I let these sit overnight in my refrigerator so they would defrost. It calls for 1/4 of a cup of milk. I'm using heavy cream because that's what I have. I don't always use milk, and I like to use heavy cream in my eggs. I'm using some green onions in mine. I like to have those in my eggs. You can even use regular onions chopped up, bell pepper, spinach, different add-ins like that. 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, some salt and pepper to taste. And I started off using this dough sheet, but I ended up using the crescents that I'll have to pinch together. I took a 10 by 15 inch sheet pan, sprayed it with some nonstick spray. Now I had to change the dough that I was using because when I opened it, it had some gray areas on the dough. Didn't quite like that look. And like I said, it was not expired, but I just did not want to take a chance and use it, so I'm using this instead. The recipe says you will have to work the dough some to get it to fit in this pan. You do have to stretch it and just kind of pinch those seams together. And it does work, but I'm thinking next time maybe I'll use, they have another crescent roll that's larger. It says larger crescent rolls on the can. So I'm wondering if I use that, if it would work. I don't have a smaller pan than this. This is the size pan that the recipe called for. So I was a little disappointed in how much I had to work that dough to get it to fit in the pan. But I did start like taking areas where it was thicker and just kind of tried to spread it out into the areas that you could see where it was a little more translucent. But it did work. I did get it spread out. So what you will do is take that cooked sausage and that's crumbled, and you just spread it out onto that crescent roll. And you want to try to make sure you get enough where you have bites in each piece. Then take the shredded potatoes, the hash browns, spread that out. I do add some salt on this because those potatoes do need salt. And you can add the salt in the bowl if you want before adding it on. Then I just mix that cheese up and then add that to it. Just make sure you have an even layer and it's spread out really well. Added a little bit of salt and pepper to the eggs because eggs do need salt. Add the heavy cream and the Parmesan cheese. I'm adding the green onions, but if you're adding spinach or anything like that, you can do that as well. Then whisk the eggs to make sure everything is combined. Pour it over your sheet pan ingredients, and I knew when I was getting close to the end, I was like, this does not look like enough eggs. And of course, it wasn't. So I added one more egg and a splash of heavy cream, mixed that up real well, and then just poured it on top. Like I said, 5 should have been enough, but it obviously was not. So I'm debating there, contemplating on, do I add one more egg or do I just leave it? So what I started doing was just turning the pan a little bit and getting the egg to run to the sides. I baked it on 375 for 25 minutes and it worked out fine. This is what it looks like when it comes out. And it did, like I said, that extra egg helped, I believe. But it worked out fine. We really did enjoy it. We liked it. Now the recipe says to bake between 25 and 30 minutes. Ovens vary, so you will have to judge on that. So just make sure that the eggs are cooked and set when you take it out of the oven. But I wanted to also show you underneath, and you could see the crust. And so it worked out fine. Nothing leaked out. Everything was fine. Just if you use that size pan, just add an extra egg. You'll know when you go to make it, if you do make it, if you need to have that extra egg. And I took that extra sausage that I had, that last half of it, and just fried that up, so we had that with it as well. This is going to be a Cajun garlic chicken and fries sheet pan meal for our supper tonight. So for this, you don't need a lot of ingredients. Very simple to make, but you need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of honey, and for the seasoning you will need a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and a teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. And I cut those in half. I just find when they're thinner they eat better, but they also, I feel like they get seasoned better. And I bought these steak fries, so you do need some steak fries frozen. I wish I would have bought the Oreo. These were a little different than what I'm used to having, but they were okay. But I do like the Oreo. And you need 16 ounces. Some black pepper, and then you need 1/2 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning and a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm also going to cook up some zucchini and some squash. First, take your sheet pan, line it with some foil or whatever you want to line it with, then spray it with some nonstick spray. Then add the chicken breasts to the sheet pan. And you want to season both sides with some salt and pepper. I'm just adding a little bit of salt on one side because I don't like to use a lot of salt when I cook, just for health reasons. And this side I will just add the pepper, but you can definitely salt it if you want. Then to a bowl, add the melted butter, the lemon juice, the oil, and the honey. Then add your seasonings for the chicken, and then just whisk that up. And that's going to make just a little bit of a glaze, and you spoon it over the top. Now I do use a brush for this as well. And when you put this in the oven, you're going to bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then take it out and then put some more of that glaze, and then you will bake it for another 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure you save half the glaze for this. On the other side of the sheet pan, add the steak fries, Then add your half a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning and teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can add as little or as much as you want of this. I added all of it. We like a lot of spice. So depending on what kind of Cajun seasoning you're using, whether it would be really spicy or not, is going to be up to you. So just choose how much spice you want and whatever seasonings you want on this. And I like to season the back of these as well. Then I just took that bowl of zucchini and yellow squash, added some olive oil to that, and I tossed that up, just kind of mix it up. Then I will add some of that veggie seasoning. But obviously I needed another sheet pan, so I just lined another one, sprayed it down with some nonstick spray, added a little bit more of that seasoning, and a little bit of garlic powder. Then I put this in the oven until they were completely cooked, tender. And this is what it looks like when they were done. Very delicious meal. And I would make more of that glaze to have. You can dip that with the fries, or you can have it to dip with the chicken. But all of it had good flavor. So this was a really good meal. For the Oreo slab pie, you will need an 8-ounce block of cream cheese softened, 2 pie crust, room temperature, 16 Oreos chopped coarsely, 8 Oreos cut in half, 2 cups of hot fudge, or 16-ounce jar, a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 1½ cups of heavy whipping cream, and a 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Now flour your mat and then take those 2 pie crust, and I believe you're supposed to stack them on top of each other. I ended up overlapping them, so I did go back here and kind of doubled it back up and just tried to get it rolled out into a large rectangle. And it's a 10 by 15 inch pan. So I flipped it over, put it in ungreased, so don't grease the pan. And I could not get the pie crust to go all the way up. It was another one of those issues. So it just kind of went halfway. And that's just the way it was going to come out. And then I just took a fork and put some holes in the bottom. Baked it for about 10 minutes on 450. And you can see a couple of holes there. But in a mixing bowl, add the cream cheese, the sugar, and the vanilla extract. Mix until smooth. Now whip the whipping cream until you get stiff peaks once it's done. Then fold in that whipped mixture into the cream cheese mixture. And don't stir it, just kind of fold it. Then add the Oreos that you crushed up and fold that in. When the crust is cooled, add 2 cups of the hot fudge. Then on top of that, add that Oreo mixture. Put this in the refrigerator for an hour to let set. Then once you take it out, put your Oreo cookies on top, and that's what it looks like when it's done. Really delicious, really enjoyed this one. Definitely, if you like Oreos, you need to try this recipe. Very good. And please don't forget to go and check Sammi's channel out along with the playlist down below. Hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. Hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless y'all.